Maritime. Voyager is a little different from the other two speakers you've heard. It's a Fort Lauderdale-based company that integrates all this stuff, communications, entertainment, electronics, everything on board. Thanks, Mark.
My name is Mark Metro. I work for Voyager. I'm the service manager. I've been in the commercial business for 30 plus years. In the beginning, mostly 25, 30 years of commercial ship, military ship around the world service, either with Raytheon corporate or as a manager and technician for Radio Holland. Been here in Fort Lauderdale twice and got into the yachting business along with the commercial business twice since I've been down here. And I run the service department for Voyager, trying to bring the level of service very high there. We have at the moment very good technicians, the cream of the crop as far as I'm concerned, and that's what my agenda is to make the customer extremely happy when the job is done. I didn't know where these guys would cover. I'm going to call this satellite stuff, so they got it pretty well handled. But whatever services they provide or equipment, we can install it, integrate it into the rest of your vessel systems. They touched the base a little bit on the Inmarsat. Not only VSAT for communications may not fit your financial needs. The communication goes all the way back to a simple Wi-Fi system. I think they did talk about the cellular broadband, so any of these can be switched in and out, software-wise or manually-wise throughout your vessel. You bring you Wi-Fi, cellular broadband, Iridium, Inmarsat, all depending upon, like you said, depending upon what your needs are, what your bandwidth need is, what your owner wants to pay for costs, what your charters are asking for on board your vessel. In the way of the VSAT, like I had a customer the other day that a charter vessel that's had a $5,000 cellular bill from this charter. Step into a VSAT. You have voice calling to the United States. It's free, besides the internet capability. So there's initial layout of money up front, which if you work it right, that you can actually get a payoff on your equipment in maybe a year and a half time. And you're actually able to supply your owner or charter with more things that would make him want to hire your boat for a charter. Seems like everything today is internet. But there's also, to me, the VSAT solution is of course, it's underway, but it's not the fastest internet speeds unless you really want to spend a lot of money. So there's also a combination of integration of either the Wi-Fi when you're in a port, or if you cellular broadband that can be integrated and switched onto your boat when you're in the service area, and you leave the dock, you switch over to your VSAT service. There's lots of different combinations that can get you into your price range and of what you need to for your boat. There's a small VSAT that's out now. Some people call it the mini VSAT, the KVH, or now the USAT. Like they said, the smaller the terminal, the more power they got to pump out of the transponder, so the airtime is not quite as competitive as a 1 meter or larger dishes. But all boats can't put up a 1.2 meter dish on their boat, and you can put a small USAT on and actually match it to a TV system and have matching domes in your boat and have VSAT and TV in a much smaller package. And you still get the VoIP services. You can have virtual VoIP numbers. You most of you may know, you're used to having bondage at your house or something like I do. But I have customers, Canadian customers, and I just give them a Canadian virtual number, so his office calls him with a local call to the owner all the time. There's lots of different possibilities. It's really depending upon your needs and the money that's available for the service that you afford on your boat. And Voyager can integrate and install any of the systems fully, commission them, and train you on the operation.
Thanks, Matt. Let's give all our speakers a hand. So we're going to open up the panel now to questions from you guys. I know that there's probably a lot of stuff that wasn't really addressed all that much, and questions that you have about service. So anybody want to start? Now, you all came with questions. I knew you came with questions.
Oh, easy.
Jay.
That's kind of an odd one, but I work with some large clients that have VPNs at their corporate sites, and I also need to tunnel through to a local IP on the systems computer where we run like assignment and anything. Do you allow that kind of?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's several ways of doing that actually. With the iDirect technology that we use, you can even divide out the bandwidth that you're getting on board. So you can even have dedicated bandwidth just for that purpose. So if you have a 512 solution, we can specify how much of that you want to use just to run, your basic applications on board, and then the rest can be shared with vessels around. Keep your cost down, but yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Exactly what Tron said, except that there's additional requirement there. Most VPNs will work fine over public internet, and that's what they're supposed to do, because they kind of find a way in a tunnel. But this is something people need to understand, is that there's more than just the VSAT network. There's actually, getting through the VSAT network and then navigating to wherever the office is, or the home environment that you're actually trying to connect to. So there's always going to be a public internet element there from wherever it comes off on the exchange to the internet off of our networks. And this is a critical component as well, because it depends on how well the provider has placed their exchange and on the information highways and all the circuits that come into these data houses. And above and beyond that, for customers that have very serious requirements above and beyond VPN and with high security or encryption, or high data requirement, then we'll go the extra distance and provide terrestrial links from our private network from any one of our points of presence to a customer's residence or business or any place that they need to connect to make sure that quality service runs all the way through. So the answer is yes, VPNs are absolutely supported on both of our networks, and then you can do a number of new additional requirements to meet additional high requirements by doing private networking and terrestrial lines.
Well, on the lighter side of heavy VPN networks, I just had a customer that keeps very good track of his boat. He's got 5 cameras on board, and you can IP cameras, so you can actually get map IP addresses, so you can go right in. He can go right into this IP camera on his boat, virtually move it and see real-time video.
Boy, I'm glad they didn't have that 20 years ago.
When we went on the boat, it has a new crew on there now, and all the cables were cut from the Pascal.
Oh my goodness. Rusty had a question.
After having done a Pacific trip, how close are we to worldwide coverage with any particular network? I know when we did the Pacific, we had VSAT. When we left the States, it dropped out about 200 miles west of the Panama Canal. And then as we got further toward the Pacific, over to Sydney and that area, if we wanted VSAT, then we had to change. We could keep our above deck unit, but we had to change all of the below deck equipment.